To be a great person, you have to learn from great people. And the key to greatness, which means actualizing your potential, is dependent upon one word that you'll walk away with tonight and have that. And that word is humility. Humility, never growing up, was that part of my vocabulary. Of the top 10 attributes I was working on, humility never was one of them. I had no idea what that meant, and it had no relevancy to me in my life. And yet we see that everything is dependent upon one attribute, humility. So I'm going to paint a picture of what humility looks like so that you can take it with you home. So we mentioned that there are two dimensions, a spiritual dimension, who I am on the inside, and a physical dimension, who you see. And all of us are trying to work out the balance, to have more light in our life, to have more clarity in our life, to be more connected to a bigger world on a daily incremental basis. And the key to that incremental motion is one thing called chachma, wisdom. This realm comes when we take the light of Torah, which is called chachma, and we incrementally put it into our eyes, into our brain. We change our perspective. And when you change your perspective, you live in a different place and you are a different person. You are your perspective. You are what you know. And the goal in life is to be different on a consistent, incremental basis. I want to keep growing. I want to be in a different place. How do you be in a different place? It's not by moving constantly. It's by moving, by changing your perspective. So who are the Jews? Wisdom seekers. We're seekers of wisdom to change our perspective, to live in a different world. That's our focus. That's our direction. In everything, there's a prototype that we learn from. The greatness that we learn from, that's called Moshe. In English, Moses. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, was the leader of the Jewish people when we received the Torah on Mount Sinai. So the history of civilization changed. At one point, 3 million people stood at Mount Sinai and received and connected to Torah. We all were at Mount Sinai and we all heard it. But the explanation and the making it practical came through what's called Moshe Rabbeinu, a leader, Moses, Moshe, and the Torah says on him that he was the most humble of all people that lived on earth. So the question obviously is, what does leadership and humility have to do with each other? And what does the Torah teach us by the fact that he was the most humble, the quintessential humble? An incorrect read of it would be, despite his being a leader, he was still humble. Despite his greatness, he would be very simple. It's much deeper than that. The concept of Moshe, a person that existed, what we learn from him is how to receive and incorporate that light. The division between soul and body, spiritual and physical, is a division between infinite and finite. Everything in the physical world has dimensions. It's only this big, this thick. It has definitive, it can only stretch so far. Things that are spiritual are infinite. They last forever. I could share with you an idea that my great-great-grandfather said 200 years ago, and you could share it with people, and that could go on forever. Our bodies will decay, but the spirit will live on. So this realm of spiritual versus physical is played out. This Aleph versus Dam, this soul versus body, is played out in this realm called humility versus non-humility. Non-humility is called stuckness. In Hebrew it's called gasus haruach, where you're thick and you're stuck. Humility is called being a ma. Moshe said the phrase, v'nachnu ma, we are what? let me define this in clearer terms, that when you want to receive light into your brain, you need to turn your brain on to the modality that connects to that light. We say that as clear as possible. Square peg, square hole. I don't have any pegs anymore. At what point was it like, oh no, put the square peg in the square hole, not the round hole. I have no square pegs nor holes. The concept is, I'm never in that situation of, oh, I get it. It's like let's kill two birds with one stone. At what point were you killing birds with stones? Or you're like, this is crazy. One stone per bird? I don't have enough stone to kill all these birds. It'd be better if I could kill two birds with one stone. That's what I need to do. Now we're saving time and stones. Kill two birds with one stone. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So square peg, still around, I think. Square peg's got to fit into a square hole. So too, you want to connect to this realm, this light called Torah. It will only go in if you are turned on to that realm. So in other words, you could have an iPhone, and you could say, how come I don't get any email? Because you're not connected to the Wi-Fi. You have the realm. Make passwords easy. The whole letter number thing, it's too hard for me. The concept is that I want to get emails. I need to make sure my phone is connected to the Wi-Fi. I want to get Chachma. In order for me to get wisdom, I need to be humble. Because, and here it is in your brain, mark it down. Because this wisdom is not wisdom that's from this world. It's a wisdom that's from beyond this world. Let me say that again. This wisdom is not from this world. Observation, I observe this 1 + 1 is 2. That's observational wisdom. 1 + 1 is 2. One object and another object, let me count them up. 1, 2. There are two objects. That's observational wisdom. That's from this world. But the wisdom that we're discussing is not from this world. So to receive that wisdom, need to turn my brain onto the connection that I could connect to a reality that's not from this world. How do I connect to a wisdom that's not from this world? What am I supposed to do? Supposed to float around in space? How am I supposed to connect to wisdom not from this world? It's through humility. Humility is the de-physicalization of your brain. When you take your brain and you eliminate the physical attributes of your brain. What does that mean? You become open. The natural position of a human being is that I exist, and therefore I think in finite terms. This is who I am. This is what I am. This is the root of the disease called defensivism. If you've ever been in a relationship with somebody, they might be plagued with defensivism, being defensive about everything. Everything they do that you point out, they have an excuse for why they do it, and they feel it's right, and they are upset at you for even pointing it out. So if you're at dinner, somebody's talking loud on a cell phone, like, I don't really know if you should really talk that loud on the cell phone. Well, everyone else is talking loud, so I don't think it's really a problem, and my grandmother can't hear me that well, so I have to talk loud, and I don't understand why you're bringing this up publicly. You really shouldn't have brought this up. It's like, okay, not only are you wrong and can't admit it, but you're attacking me for bringing it up. That's a defensive posture, exaggeration, but it means I am who I am. You know what I'm talking about. We're all around people where the ultimate egotist is not someone who thinks they're great. It's someone who is stuck in who they are. You could have a low self-esteem and be what we call in Judaism an egotist. Means you're stuck in your position. I'm the worst, I have no friends, nobody likes me. No, a lot of people like you have good friends. No, I don't, I really don't. Okay, you're an egotist because you're stuck in that low self-esteem position. You are thinking very physical. No, open yourself up that there could be something different. So humility means the de-physicalization of your mentality. Your mentality has to be turned to the open position. The open position humility is called ma. When you ask a question, you say, ma, what is this? I'm saying, I don't know and I want to know. Ma, I don't know and I want to know. I want to absorb this reality. Moshe was the ultimate of humility. It teaches us that if you want to have chachma, have wisdom, have the light of Torah, make an effect and stick with you, make an effect and change your perspective, it will only work when you turn your brain on ma, when you turn your brain on humility, when you switch to being open. So Moshe being the leader, being where we received, and yet what was his ultimate attribute? That he made himself, he received the Torah by being ma. And so too with us, our role model, our ultimate role model is this realm of ma, of humility, of openness, which means that all the wisdom, assuming that you want to connect Aleph to Dam, assuming that you want to live with intent, live on purpose, and you could only do that through Chachma, it will only stick, it will only be part of you if you're open to that change. A person can learn Torah, know wisdom, have Chachma, and it can have zero effect. It will bounce right off of them. It is useless. The only time this is ever relevant is if you have the psychological perspective of ma, of openness, of being humble. So when we talk about soul versus body, it's an issue of ma, openness, as opposed to stuckness. All of us, in everything we do, need not only to understand and obtain wisdom, but to make it real, we have to be open for change. When you walk into a store, often it says, pardon our appearance, we're under construction. All of us should be, pardon my appearance, I'm under construction. I'm working on myself. So that means if I made a mistake, you point it out, I'm not going to rationalize that or defend it. I could be, you know what, that's true. I'm a work in progress. I'm working on myself. I am not finite. I'm infinite in that I am not declaring this is my picture. I'm still a work in progress. Being humble enables that wisdom to come in. Now let me put it all together with real good ice cream. So it goes like this, that a human being, your goal is to take Chachma, and what does that create? We wake up in the morning, we wash our hands, we say the verse, Reishis Chachma, the purpose of wisdom is Yiras Hashem, is to have the perspective of Hashem. In order to have consciousness of the world, you have to have Chachma. But you can only have Chachma if you're open, if you're a ma. Says the Zohar that the word Chachma, when you flip around the first two letters, spells the phrase Koach Ma. When you take the Ches and Chaf, flip that around in Chachma, the same letters that spell the word Chachma spells the phrase Koach Ma. Koach in Hebrew means strength. You have Koach. Ma means what? Wisdom is a strength only if you're a ma. In other words, wisdom is irrelevant unless you are ma, unless you are open, unless you use it as a catalyst for change and you set your brain on the modality of openness and change. You could be smart and that could be absolutely irrelevant. It only makes sense when you are a ma, when you're open for that. And now putting it all together, what are you? You're an Adam. You're an Aleph, the soul, Dam, which is the body. And what's your goal? To Ma'od, to take the realm of Tov and make it more. So the same letters that spell the word Adam, Aleph, Daled, Mem, spell the word Ma'od, Mem, Aleph, Daled. Because your goal is to further the good. But you could only further the good if you have Chachma. But you could only have Chachma if you're a ma. So everything depends on your being a ma. That's why the Torah teaches us that the word Adam, Aleph, Dalet, Mem, has the same numerical value as the word ma, Mem, He. Meaning, Aleph is 1, Dalet is 4, and Mem is 40, equals 45. Mem is 40, He is 545. The numerical value of what you are, what are you? You're Adam. How do you activate and create who you're supposed to be, where your ultimate fulfillment is? It's only through Chachma. But that will only work if you're a Ma. So Adam is the numerical value of Ma, which teaches us that you will only complete yourself if you are a Ma. Everything hinges upon that one foundation. If you can be a Ma, you could receive Chachma, change your perspective, and fulfill the purpose of the world. But if you're not a Ma, game over. Goal, receive Chachma, change your perspective. But that only will happen when you're a Ma. The fact that the numerical value of Adam happens to equal the numerical value of Ma tells us that being a human is dependent upon whether or not you are a Ma, whether or not you're open. Period. Any questions on that? That's enough for a while. Everything is about awareness, and the most important awareness is self-awareness. You have to be aware of who you are. So how we, the Jewish people, how do we view, what are we? What am I on an individual basis? I'm an Adam. And what's my goal? To be Ma'od. And how do I do that? By being a Ma. The fact that Adam, Ma'od, and Ma align teaches us that it's all within. If I can make the world a better place, if I can make myself a better person, and I make myself a better person with one foundational psychological attitude. That's the attitude of Ma. I am open and I'm fluid. Being a Ma means I'm aligned to a more spiritual world. I'm not a Ma towards everything, I'm a Ma towards Chachma. I'm a Ma towards the light that directs me. The success of a person, your greatness, is measured by your humility. Humility is not a devaluation of your skills and ability. Humility is the attitude that you have towards wisdom. I don't know and I want to know. I want to bring it in. And therefore, as a different way of viewing the name of this class, what's the point? On a simple level, it's what's the point? Everybody's got to ask themselves at one point in their life, what's the point? What am I doing this all? And it's all about punctuation. If you put the period at the end, it's what is the point? What? Being a what? That's the point. The point of life is being a what? It's all punctuation. I think Jerry Seinfeld said the joke, no U-turn. He's like, is that? No, U-turn. How do you read the sign? U-turn. Go ahead, it's all yours. Same thing here is that what is the point? One of the tricks up my sleeve in naming the class is what is the point? Meaning, what is the point? It's all about being what-ish. Success is dependent upon your ability to absorb. And as I'm sure you know, you read any book on business. What is the key to success? 7 habits of highly effective people. I want to copy. I want to learn. Part of our generation's deficiency is that we lack role models, and we lack the knowledge that there is a concept called role models. In other words, people who are successful happen to just roll out and realize, wow, that person's really good. I want to be like that person. In any field of business or endeavor that you're in, it's a question of find somebody who's doing that well and take from them. And here's the psychological take home. You will not lose yourself. You're not imitating the person, becoming that person. You are a composite of the great people that you've been exposed to and learned from. You are a composite of the great people that you've learned from and that you've been exposed to. Everyone is a walking mix of all the people that we choose to learn from. Our goal is to be in the concept absorption from our teachers, from our rabbis, and from anybody. Everybody has something I could learn. I could take information from you as long as you are a ma. The end. Thank you guys.